I've spent my whole photography career editing my images, nearly 5 years of educating people right here on YouTube about photo editing, and I continue to include it in my workflow regularly. Yet, I've been on a bit of a journey finding quite a lot of enjoyment and connection with my own photography without editing my images. And a big part of that journey has been dabbling with different cameras to see just how good they are at producing images right in camera. This all started with the Fujifilm X100S, and recently I've been shooting almost exclusively on my Nikon Zf with its recipes. I even showed quite a few images straight out of camera in my video that's highlighting the Hasselblad X2D. Now, I've since sold that camera, and serendipitously around the same time, I got put in contact with someone at Fujifilm. They reached out and basically said that I could try out a camera, if I wanted to. And with a 102 megapixel hole in my heart, after selling the Hasselblad X2D, I thought I'd give the GFX100S I think I got that right, a spin. Conceptually, this feels like I get the best of both worlds. I can use the recipes like the X100S, I can change lenses like on my Nikon Zf, which is a bit ironic to say considering I actually only have one lens for the Nikon Zf currently, but I also get those delicious, fat 102 megapixel images again. Sounds pretty sweet. So, what's the catch? Let's find out.
As you can tell, Sophia and I are not out in the middle of nature. We are downtown Seattle, so I'm going to do my best street photographer impression. However, I'm not a street photographer. What I'm probably going to focus on is more of the abstract shapes and colors and textures rather than trying to photograph people, but maybe I'll take a photo of a person or two. But right now, we were sitting here eating, and we noticed that these planes were flying by, and one of them flew right over the building that we are sitting under. And it just looked really cool, and I was like, that should be my first shot, because I haven't taken my first shot yet. Oh, there's a plane coming right now. The good news is I'm using, I've got a lens that's not one focal length, so I can zoom in a little bit more here on the GFX100S2. Let's see what we can get. Is it gonna line up? I'm gonna try to take one shot. Nope, too low. So we're sitting here waiting for a plane to go by in the right spot. It's always the first shot that's the hardest. It's the first one to put on the roll, and that's what I'm waiting to do, and I'm hoping that we get a good plane here, and it makes for a nice image. We're shooting with the 32 to 64 GFX lens, which I think is equivalent of like 24 to 50-ish, but it's enough of a zoom to help me get this plane in between the buildings. All right, I took 2 exposures. Neither plane was really in the right spot for what I wanted the shot to be, but still good to get the first shot of the day in the bag. And now we are going to why we came downtown, which is the Seattle Public Library, which just looks awesome for photography.
So a quick disclaimer is that this is not going to be a formal review. Heck, I wouldn't even qualify it as a review at all. That's why I didn't put it in the title. And if you want one of those, after you're finished with this video specifically, you better watch the whole video. I'm sure you can find one of those reviews right here on YouTube. What you will get from this video though, is that what you might not get from any other video, and that is the ability to see images coming out of the GFX100S2 without any editing, meaning that you could take this camera, walk up, and take the same exact shot that I got. I'm also not going to be skipping any images, thus you're going to see every image I take on this outing. Last time with the Nikon Zf, I limited myself to 36 shots. However, this time I didn't set a numbered limit based off of some of the comments I got. I just conserved as much as I could. Ironically, I actually ended up only taking 30 shots. Not only is this a fun challenge for me, but it also goes to show a really realistic thing that you could do in just a couple hours of your day by walking around town. Also, this video is not sponsored by Fujifilm. They didn't pay me anything, they didn't offer me anything, they didn't give me a camera. They asked me to do nothing. There was no exchange here. They simply just said, do you want to try a camera? And if so, which one? They don't even know I'm making this video. There is a sponsor for today's video though, and that is the Unified Drive UT2. Backing up your photos and work is incredibly important, and something that I take really seriously. I've been looking for a device that is portable, fast, and most importantly, provides data redundancy. Thus, when Unified Drive reached out to sponsor this video, I was really excited for just how many problems this thing solves. This is the Unified Drive UT2, a portable NAS that even has a battery pack built into it so you can use it anywhere. It has 2 SSD slots that I've installed two 2TB Samsung 99 EVOs in and set them up to mirror each other. This means I now have a portable NAS drive that fits in my hand and also provides data redundancy while I'm out in the field, in transit, or away from home for extended periods. That's just the tip of the iceberg for what this thing can do. One incredible feature I know every photographer watching will absolutely love involves using this SD card or CF Express card reader, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Okay, so as I went up this escalator, I noticed this super nice shot going right up into these windows, and I took a shot going up the escalator, and then I came back down to take another shot because of how nice it looked. Do I want a person in the shot? I don't think so. Here. Really cool patterns in the shot. This is probably horizon line straight, but I'm actually going to use this line here. And then I'm trying to get these circles of light to mirror these triangles at the bottom. And it looks really nice. I think I'm going to put the lines directly in the center. Portrait 800 as my film recipe. And we're going to take that shot. So as you can tell, there is a ton of potential here. And something I'm trying not to do is just walk around pointing my camera at every possible thing. I'm actually trying to set my camera down. It's currently, well, it's around my neck. And just walk around and try to take it all in. And only pick my camera up when something really strikes my attention. And then I check for a comp. Otherwise, I could just sit in here and take 2 steps, find a different shot, 2 steps, find a different shot. And I'm trying not to just sit here with my eye behind the EVF. And I'm trying to see with my eyes rather than with my camera currently. But I could literally shoot every shot of this video in this building. Sophia's looking at books. Okay, I am absolutely loving the shadows in this shot. And I kind of want some people right there where they are now, but I don't know if this is the exact shot that I want, because I think I want to get rid of this on the right part of the frame and this, and I want to just bring it in to simplify the image and put this row of books in the right part of the frame. And now I have this bar here on the roof and this bar pointing directly into the image, and then all of these lines pointing in. And now I just want to, let's see the whole image here. Let's move this way, and then I just want to wait until someone is in the right part of the image using Kodak Gold 200 recipe right now, which you can find all the recipes linked down below. And now I just have to wait for someone to stand right about here in the image. Oh, here we go. Okay, Fujifilm, if I'm not supposed to remove this protective layer, I'm sorry, but it's really making it hard to see my shots. This is the shot. Oh, that's nice. See if I can get you guys to be able to see it. Oh, that's nice. Really cool angles. A lot of cool shadows. I think we're taking this shot. Let's bring it down. Right there. Nice. I'm gonna take one more of this because I like it so much, but I'm a little bit closer. And now I have this line here with all of the shadows in the shot, but then there's also the bookshelves there. It just really comes together. It's really nice.
Really cool abstract shapes, shadows, textures. Yeah, this is it. Don't want to cut off the top.
One of my favorite features of the Unified Drive UT2 is the ability to quickly back up to an SD card or CF Express card while in the field without ever needing a computer or even a phone. All you have to do is turn it on, throw in a card to one of these slots, and it starts backing up your card once you press a button. This is incredibly useful for creators. I've personally spent hours after long days of shooting photos or videos backing up to multiple drives in my hotel room. This solves all of that, while even handling the added benefit that you don't even need a computer. You could literally back up your images while you drove back to the hotel. Absolutely incredible. And if you do have a phone with you, you can directly connect to the device in the field to make sure that everything backed up. You can find a link in the description with more info on the Unified Drive UT2.
Okay, so just walking by this particular shot, doesn't necessarily look like anything until you zoom in and you just have all of these nice cross sections. You have this dark shadow here contrasted with this white line mixed in with these two different types of buildings. You've got this shiny building and this more textured building, and it just kind of really brings everything together. So I'm going to take this shot shooting on Kodak Gold 200. Really nice. Let's I'm going to line it up. I can't exactly see my shot except through this camera that you're watching, so I'm going to line this up and take it now.
So this is probably one of my favorite images of the day, even though I think it actually needs a crop in the edit, but of course all these images are unedited. But I want to talk more in depth about some of my composition choices, why things worked or didn't work for some of the images in this video, but I really don't have time to include them in this video because it's already getting a bit too long for the attention span here on YouTube. But if you are interested in that, I'm going to have that video on my Patreon, link down below. It's completely free. All I ask is for your email. That's how you have to sign up to be a free member, but that's it. And you can watch that if you're interested in. I'm going to talk about things about my thoughts, why I chose some of the shots that I did, what worked and didn't work. And I think it can be really educational if you're at that stage in your photography. Link in the description. Let's get back to the video.
Shot is quite nice. Let's try. Okay, so this is Portra, Kodak Gold. My Wes Anderson one. I think I don't want the shadows pushed. I want it very contrasty. I think we're gonna go with this. This is a new recipe I'm trying out, and I think we're gonna bring the exposure comp down to 0 and let those spots be in shadow a bit. And then I kind of just need someone to walk by. Well, we might not get someone to walk by, so we'll move up just a smidge. And I think it would be better with someone walking through the light, but we're just going to take this shot. Alright, it's been a while since we've taken a shot, a couple hours. But I absolutely love the way the geometry is in this particular shot. Maybe from over here. But now I just need a bird to fly through. So I have to sit and wait. There's a bird right there.
All right, well, I'm still waiting on this bird, but something I wanted to mention is that I'm shooting in both JPEG and RAW. That means that I'm gonna have film simulations applied to the RAW in things like Lightroom, but I'm also gonna have my recipes applied to the JPEG. Most of the images you're going to be seeing in this video are just going to be the JPEG images straight out of camera, but there might be a few that I show you the raw images of as well that are probably straight out of camera. I doubt I'm going to edit any of these, but I will let you know if I do. I want to talk about a few of the images that I've taken so far in this video in a bit more depth, or my thought process behind some of them, or what I liked about them that I didn't talk about in the field. But just know that I'm shooting in both JPEG and RAW at the same time. Honestly, both images look great out of this camera so far. Get a nice shot. I'm gonna steal it.
Okay.
No, I want a picture of you. I can't see anything in this camera. Okay, I'm gonna have to use my phone. Cute. Smile.
Okay, I don't know what happened in this image. I took the first image and it was too dark. So then I went to take the second image. And I know that once you go above a certain shutter speed, I wanna say 1/2000th or 4,000th of a second, the GFX switches from mechanical shutter to electronic shutter. And I took this image and I have no idea what happened. My best guess is that I took the image even though I was at 4,000ths of a second shutter speed. But as I took the image and moved the camera down, like I took the image, let it take, and then I brought my hand down, for some reason it was still reading out. I genuinely don't know, because this is the framing of the image and this is the image I got on that second shot. And somehow it has from the top of her head all the way down to her feet, which was not even in the frame. So I reviewed that shot and then I had to take a third image to finally get it. But I promised you I would show you every shot, and I'm not skipping this one, but it felt like it needed an explanation because I don't know what the heck happened in this shot. I have to imagine it's something to do with electronic shutter, but I don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments down below. Back to the video.
Okay, using my phone is pretty much the only way I can actually show you the composition. I'm shooting X-Pan right now, 65 by 24, I believe, super wide. Some people like to call it cinematic, and I think it's the only real way this comp is working. Using my Wes Anderson film preset, I probably want to bring my aperture up just a little bit, but I can't because I don't have enough hands. I think 6.4 is probably fine. So let's just take this image at 6.4. This is a nice symmetrical shot. I don't think it's anything too fancy. Oh, there's someone right in the center. Let's take it now. Make sure my horizon's straight. All right, another one in the bag. Composition is not as good. There's a bunch of these palette things over here, but the sun is nice coming through. I guess maybe I can get a little bit closer. Let's see. Maybe this works. I just need to get the sun star. This is a risky shot if I'm only going to take one. Well, let's just try it. All right, I ended up exposing another image because that first sun star wasn't great. I think it was a tad overexposed. Most importantly, I really wanted to focus on the composition to see if I could make it work. So I turned this camera off and just moved around a lot, trying to not get these things in the shot while also still balancing the walkway, that little structure, the person sitting there doing stuff, and the sun star. I think the image came out probably one of the stronger images I've taken today. Granted, it's also my wheelhouse. That's the kind of stuff I'm pretty good at. So I hope it turned out. It looks pretty good on the back of the camera. Here it is.
Another great feature of the UT2 is that you can set it up as a wireless access point. If you've ever been in a hotel or had poor or limited device Wi-Fi, this means that you can take your UT2 and plug it directly into the room's Ethernet port and create your own Wi-Fi hub for all of your devices. This also allows other people to connect to your device and transfer files, back up their own content, or even work simultaneously off the NAS together. I didn't even get to talk about the ability to connect to TVs through its HDMI port so that you can play your media from it, provide phone photo backups through their app, or the fact that you can use it directly connected as a flash drive to work directly from. Seriously, the Unified Drive UT2 does so much, but most importantly, it provides you a convenient and simple way to make sure that your photos or content is safely backed up right in the field. Check it out with my link in the description and grab yourself one today. All right, so what's the conclusion? Well, the first thing I can tell you is that the images out of this camera are gorgeous. I'm still remaining a little bit conservative in my thoughts on that because when I first got the camera, Sophia and I went out on a bike ride and I just took a few images down by the pier, the same ones I took on my Nikon Zf, if you caught that video. It was a different day, and when I came back to look at those images, I was completely blown away at what I was getting straight out of camera. But I am not the type of person that's like, in love with a specific brand because of their color science or something like that. You'll read online that there's something about the Leica images that just make them better than other brands, or Hasselblad's color science, or Canon's skin tones, or anything like that. While some things can be true, I'm not the type of person that typically gets a camera and goes, wow, this is just better than everything else. However, when I got those images and looked at them without any editing, just with the recipe and even in the raw, I was honestly just like, okay, these are really gorgeous. But I didn't want to just, go off of that because maybe it was the lighting, maybe it was the conditions at that moment. I'm not entirely sure, and I didn't want to write it off as like, okay, I've got to get this camera. It's the best thing ever. So what my plan to do is actually compare the images coming out of the GFX100S2 to the Fujifilm X100VI. Now, these are not comparable cameras. They're not the same price bracket. They're obviously very different sensor sizes. However, one thing that is consistent is that they have the same film recipes from camera to camera. And I'm curious that if I shoot the same shot with the same film recipe, what the aesthetics of the final image look like. Not megapixels, just something about the final image. Is there something special going on with the medium format or this particular sensor? I don't know, but it's a video I plan on doing, so if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe down below. Another question you might be asking is, do you need 100 megapixels? And if you followed any of my videos in the past, you know the answer to that is no. I actually compared two crop sensors, two full frame sensors to the Hasselblad in this video if you're interested. And from the most part, you probably can't tell a whole lot of difference. Again, 99.9% of the images that I take are only being consumed on a screen like this one. And I've printed larger than 5 feet wide before, and that was from the 5D Mark IV, and those images look fantastic. So do you need 100 megapixels? I know that I don't, but maybe that's something that you need. I do know that when I'm shooting in the X-Pan crop, having a 50 megapixel image from that crop is pretty nice. But overall, this is just a really large sensor, and I'm more concerned about how the image's aesthetics look, how the images come out of the camera, more so than specifically how big the images are. I actually ended up shooting most of these images in lossless RAW because the uncompressed RAWs are 200 megabytes each, and I don't have that much space. I do on my Unified Drive here, which again, linked down below. Overall, it feels great in my hand, and compared to something like the Hasselblad, that one didn't sit right in my hand. It was fine, but I was a bit too worried about scratching it or hurting it, and it's probably better meant for a shelf, and it's kind of why one of the reasons I sold it. It just didn't sit right in my hand. Unlike this camera, feels really good in my hand. Lastly, if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. If you enjoy this style of seeing all the images that I take on an outing or seeing all the unedited images, and that's something that interests you, I would love to know in the comments down below. As always, you can like the video if you liked it. Consider subscribing if you loved it. There's got to be a room out there somewhere. We just got to go find them. I'll see you on the next one. Later.